Welcome to Next to Madison, a podcast to help you live your best life. Welcome back to another episode of Next to Madison. I am your host, Madison Malloy, and on today's episode, I am sitting down with comedian, actor, and now turned political unifier, Ron Barba. He is here to talk about his new movement, MAGA for Mamdani. And before you hit that stop button on this podcast, I want you to really learn. I actually open up a lot on stuff in this episode and really dive deep into the questions. And I think that you'll feel a little more at peace with this interview when you see it, but I am not letting him off the hook, and we really do go there, and it's actually a very beautiful interview with a lot of great things that can help you feel more positive and lighter just about everything going on politically in this country. So we'll be right back after this brief message on Next to Madison. Hi, it's your host, Madison Malloy. For those of you who don't know, I've written and created a powerful collection of books to help you build confidence, shift your mindset, and attract the life you truly want. From Time to Lighten the F Up, to Affirm and Flourish, Color Your Way to Abundance, and more. These aren't just books, they're tools for transformation. Grab a copy now on Amazon or at madisonmalloy.com. Now back to the show. Welcome back to Next to Madison. I am here with our amazing guest, actor, comedian, and now political schizophrenic, Ron Barba. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so very much for having me on.
I had you on not too long ago, and we were talking about, because you and I are dear friends.
Yes.
And we were talking about how you're just the most positive, always see the good in people and the good in life, and you're always just so happy. I don't know what happens behind closed doors. Maybe you cry yourself to sleep, but overall, you're a very positive human being. And then we had a new young mayor-elect come and start running, and you decided to, because you're MAGA, and you decided you're going to get behind this guy, and you developed the slogan, MAGA for Mamdani. So that's why we call you a political schizophrenic or bipolar. If anyone's offended by this, please, it's just jokes. But how the fuck did this happen? You've got the ultimate capitalist and then the ultimate socialist on one shirt.
It came in a vision.
It came in a vision.
It was a vision from God or from some spirit in the world. And it just hit me that this has to be the right person to vote for. And I said, okay, I'm going to follow that. And I said, but can I leave Big Daddy Trump behind? And the Spirit said, no. You can bring them together as one.
And I do like that, because a lot of people right now, we're so divided, especially politically, right?
Yes.
So, and it's like, why can't we go back to the good old days where we listen to each other and we respect each other, even though we don't think the same? And that's what I feel like, because I know you so well. So some people are looking at you like, has this guy lost his mind? But I know you. Yes. And so I'm like, no, he's trying to create unity.
Yes.
And he knows that you can't just come out and say, hey, let's create unity, because that doesn't get any clicks. But MAGA for Mamdani catches a lot of attention.
This sure did.
And it's very controversial to a lot of people.
And when I first put it together, I thought it was a good idea. And then I'd gone to a Halloween party with you, and a young man there who was like 24 said, are you going to the rally tomorrow? And I said, there's a rally tomorrow? That was hilarious. He goes, it's Bernie, AOC. I mean, those are the heavyweights, liberals, if you're a Republican. Like, oh my God, Bernie.
Right.
And I mean, you know, the cocktail talk when it's all Republicans around. Bernie, AOC.
Yeah.
And then Mamdani's with them. I'm like, I'll go. I want to check it out. I went alone on the train with the look for the first time out in public. And it was like, when I showed up, I was like the man calling in the Messiah, calling for the Messiah. I am here to tell you that he, from the other side, is the one to bring in. The people, the way they came at me, asking me questions. I had newspapers immediately coming to me.
You became a viral sensation.
But exactly. And so when I left, when people are taking pictures of me at Zoran's rally, the last guy to get me, right before I went to the train, was a guy at the Daily News. And his name was not Julia Roberts, but it was Julia somebody, because someone said, you got interviewed by Julia Roberts.
You're like, no, I did not.
But I was like, maybe I did, or Julia Roberts said something about you. That picture is the one that went super viral, 10 million views, and people just went crazy. And the comments from the right wing were the absolute best, because the MAGA people just went. And I didn't really at all. I knew it was a funny idea, and it was like, what? MAGA for Mamdani? And that was the look on everyone's faces. But the comments about me needing mental health, there was something about got your meds was literally a sign behind me in a bus stop while I'm sitting there with MAGA for Mamdani.
Right.
And so many people made those comments, but everything, like, there's no way this guy could be MAGA. A MAGA would never be a socialist. And I was like, why not? Why can't I be anything? Why can't I be an atheist? Why can't I be, you name anything? Why can't a MAGA be anything in this world? Because I'm proud to be a MAGA, and I'm proud of Trump, although he's had his difficulties. I feel incredibly so. And I felt it immediately when he took over again. I'm like, oh my God, we're going back to 4 years of this guy and them fighting. I just couldn't take it anymore. And that is kind of what said, you got to find someone that can bring them together. And he came to me. The spirit came to me. It's Mamdani. I thought there was going to be no mayors, like, oh, we're just going to do this. But he is the one. I am certain that this man is going to quell the left wing. He's not going to quell the left wing. He's going to quell Trump. Trump is going to calm down. It's going to be a much easier, and I said this before they met. I didn't even know they were meeting. I said I could just see that they're going to get together, and Trump is going to be an easier, cooler guy. And it was like, that I couldn't predict it was going to be that
Mamdani's victory speech, it was like the mask came off, and it was like this dictator just came in. We're gonna turn up it was like threats, and I'm like, this is never a good sign when a new mayor of a city that you live in is now threatening the president of the United States, who's in charge of federal funding, which we need for the city.
That's right.
So that meeting, I think, put a lot more people, including myself, at ease. I'm not a Mamdani fan. I'm not going to pretend to be a Mamdani fan. If Mamdani wants to come in here and convince me otherwise, he is more than welcome to come in here, and I will treat him with the utmost respect.
Yeah.
And the thing is, whenever any politician is elected, whether I like them or not, I want them to do well. Because I think when you want somebody to purposely do horribly, you're kind of a piece of shit yourself.
Exactly.
Like you should. I want Mamdani to prove us wrong. But Mamdani likes his socialist policies. And I don't know if he forgot to take history lessons, but through the years, they've tried these things and they failed miserably. And he ran very hard, very strong on free buses. Well, that's great. But now you're going to have the homeless living on the buses. Because if I was homeless and I needed shelter, I'd go to a damn bus. You can't be kicking these people off because they don't look the same. Now you've got a whole other bag of worms. So people aren't going to be taking the buses. So if he wants to make New York City a better place, he needs to lower the taxes as they are. But his plans are who's going to pay for this shit? It's going to increase the taxes. They're thinking, okay, your wealthiest people, he doesn't like the billionaires, they're going to leave. Who's going to pay for this shit? I am not a billionaire. I'm not even close to a billionaire, and I want to leave because I'm done working so hard and seeing how much tax stuff goes out. It's like your city tax, your state tax. I told my previous guest about this. I went to get a fucking sandwich today. I walked there on foot. And when I got the receipt, I had a commuter tax on that thing, and I fucking walked there. This is what's happening.
The cost of everything is going.
So how do you think that your new person is going to fix this city?
Well, I don't know how he's going to do it, to be honest. I wasn't looking at him through policies. I was just thinking that he's kind of the new blood, and he's going to figure out a way. You know how you sometimes figure out a way? Our government is $38 trillion in debt, and somehow they figure out a way to pay all these bills by going into debt. So maybe it's debt. I don't really know how he's going to do it. I know he wants to tax billionaires, but that's going to be it's going to be hard to do that anyway. A lot of the stuff that he's pronounced that he wants to have happen, it's going to be very difficult for him to do any of this stuff. But that's what he's going to try to do. But
then don't you think a lot of his fan base is going to turn against him because they're like, we voted for you for this.
Right.
And now you're not doing it.
He's going to have to deliver. Listen, his job is so unbelievable.
He's got a hard
It's one thing to do what
him.
he did, which is incredible, to win the way he did. But now the test is so big. And maybe he'll get help from Trump. But believe me, Trump may actually help him.
I feel like you're going to be, your dad was concerned about this. A lot of people were concerned about this. And I said, I just have a weird feeling that he's going to have the last laugh.
Yeah, you and a lot of people.
And I think that we're going to see your son in the White House with Trump and Mamdani together. And I thought, but we need to start creating unity and conversation between all this. So what I think is, as crazy as this sounds to a lot of people, I think the movement that you're really starting is, let's take the polar opposite politicians and bring them together to listen and start a conversation again.
Yes.
So you're really kind of starting a peaceful movement in a very strange way.
In a very weird way. And you're absolutely right. And a lot of people have asked me, like, the main thing about both these guys is they are so special, both leaders. I wouldn't say that if one of them wasn't special. We know Trump is special, for better or for worse. Obviously, you love him. Obviously, I love him. But there's so many people that can't stand him. And Zoran, most Republicans could never stand for socialism. They fear it, terribly. But he's still extremely talented. So you have these two really talented guys who happen to seem to like each other. It
shocked me.
And it shocked most people. But I was like, wow, these guys are getting it faster than I thought. I thought it was going to take some time. But I am certain that Zoran is, and you say, why are you certain? I can't tell you why. I just am certain that he is going to do such greatness for this city, and people are going to love coming to this city. I think people are going to move to this city, and I think that even though
free shit,
I don't know about the free buses and all that. I mean,
that's not happening.
Maybe I got to do that. If we get all the homeless people on the buses, then maybe the buses will bust them out, and then we won't have a homeless problem. Maybe that's what the next step is.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fascinating to watch. I don't want to stick around and watch it go down. I personally don't. Here's the thing is, you can never bet against New York City. I was not alive or around during the Dickens, whatever his name was, Dickens, where the city was just in shambles. And then Giuliani came in and really cleaned it up, went after the mob. So I don't want to be around for
what's going to happen.
Right. But I also know you can't bet against New York City.
Exactly.
So sometimes I think you have to just, and I said this on Fox News when I went on, sometimes you have to you can tell people a million things, hey, this isn't going to work and this is why. Here's the facts to back it up. But they have to learn themselves. So I think that's what's going to happen to New York City. New York City is going to take a little bit of a beating.
Definitely.
But hey, Zoran, prove me fucking wrong. Come on the show and prove me wrong.
That's great if you come on the show. I'm trying to get a meeting with him. They got my name, they got my
you should
my
be
birthday.
On the road with him. You should
maybe
be
he's scared of me
that.
because he's like, this guy does comedy or he's an actor, and maybe that's not the kind of guy we want behind us. But at the same time, he mentions me 4 different times in 4 separate interviews. So, I think just having this made him feel good that there are people from the other side willing to be open to him. And that's kind of what I've done. I've gone over from the MAGA side over to the Democrats, since Trump doesn't seem to know how to do that, except when Zoran came, he did. That's the first time I saw Trump being like a cool, really cool guy to Democrats, and even self-effacing, making fun of himself in front of a Democrat. That was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff that I see going forward. That's exactly the way, if Trump manages himself that way with all others, I think he's going to go back to being great with everyone. He'll always be great with MAGA. We know that. Although he's lost a lot of Marjorie Taylor Greene, and he's lost a lot of fans that way.
I'm not even touching that one.
But he's lost a lot of fans that way. But he is I find him to be very smart. The Democrats don't think he's smart. And they think I think he's going to come around and be a much cooler president now because of Zoran. I believe that Zoran is the reason.
And I want to hope you're right.
Remember how much New York City has hated Trump? I think it's going to turn around. I think that's going to be his last move, is to get New York back the way to love him again. He's that good. Trump is that good that he can do that. But it's going to take Zoran to do it. And Zoran, in my mind, the way I've seen him so far, is that good. He can bring out greatness in others. As he's done, I just feel like he's already doing that. I don't know how he's going to do it, but I feel it's a spirit. I feel like the spirit, if it's strong enough, people will just do it. It will get done. That's the way I see him. And I know it sounds nuts. It sounds hopeful.
Okay, so let's talk about his whole thing of, he needs the billionaires' tax revenue, right? But he has criticized them.
Yeah, you can't
for
do that.
being amazing.
Yeah, he can't do that.
Here's the problem with billionaires, and you were on another very famous podcast, YouTube show.
Yes.
What's his name? Walter Madison.
Madison? I like
Madison.
He could be Walter Madison and Madison Malloy.
Whatever.
Masterson.
Him and I were not the same, but very good interviewer. Mm-hmm. I love that he's a comedian. I have full respect to him.
Definitely.
Really liked it, but he doesn't like billionaires.
Yeah.
You said you don't like billionaires. Here's the problem. I
didn't say I didn't like billionaires.
No, but he doesn't.
But I didn't say I don't like billionaires. I love billionaires.
Here's the problem. If you say, and then people are like, well, they don't need this much money. Right. Here's the thing. When you start taking people saying you can only make X amount, you crush innovation.
Yep.
The person that's going to solve childhood cancer or solve some crazy health epidemic. Mm-hmm. We're going to punt. Those people aren't going to be as driven. Let's motivate them to want to donate through tax deductions. Hey, we'll take this, but you get a little bit of a deduction. There's a better way of doing it. The socialist policies do not work.
I do hate the fact.
And they're already gone. They're in Palm Beach, where I need to go and get on a fucking yacht now and be like, where are my billies at? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah. I support you.
I had this argument with my dad about that. About what's $100 million to a guy that's got $1 billion, Dad? I said, and my dad was very successful, as you know. At one point, he made well into over $100 million.
Yeah.
And then lost it. But it's like, when you had that kind of money, did you mind 10 million here, 15, 20 million? It's nothing to these people. But you know what it could do to the society? Now you have to say, well, then how do we get them to do it voluntarily? How do we get them?
Because nobody wants to be forced to do something.
I agree. Who would want to do something you earned? You take it because these people need it. But you have to somehow incentivize. I agree. You have to figure out a way to incentivize them, and it might be through the heart that you have to say, look at these people. If we had $10 million, they could whatever.
Here's the issue, Ron, and this has been going on forever, right? The IRS will come and audit common day folk like you and I, okay? No problem. But nobody's ever audited any of these government institutions, right? So a billionaire say, okay, $10 million is going to help those people. However, it usually goes into the coffers of the fucking people, and they know that.
Of the people in government, and not to the people where it needs to go.
Right. So
that is a problem.
I think could be, okay, you want me to help these people? Great. I'm going to build a building for them. You're not going to touch it. Mm-hmm. You're going to give me a deduction to do it, and I'm going to do it so I know it's not going to your pockets. Until we get rid of the corruption in the government, billionaires don't want to keep funding these corrupt politicians. Who shouldn't be rich in the first place. You should go in there because you are passionate about this. You're a public fucking servant. You do your job. You get out. Maybe you make some more money writing books or a speech, but the fact that they're getting uber wealthy, something is not right. Why can you edit a bartender who's working her ass off?
I know.
And it's just trying to survive the American dream and supporting her family, but we can't go in and audit these politicians or even the government of where the money's going.
I know.
So this is why these people have a problem. It's not just $10 million. It's corruption.
Oh, there's more. It goes more than just taking money from people.
So I think if we cleaned up the corruption,
there you go.
I think many billionaires would say, great. If you can prove to me the exact track of money that's going to help these people, I'm in.
I love that. And I feel the same. I feel the same way whenever I give even a small amount of money with people. I say, where is this going? Oh, yeah, right. It's going there. How do you know? And you don't know. So what you're saying, though, but what's so beautiful, what you said is you just gave Zoran an idea of how he can get this money.
Yes.
That it's one idea. And so this is exactly where I was going with this all, is that if we have the right minds talking about how we can do things, I think that we can do it. And your idea right there is one great idea of a Republican talking to Democrats, coming up with the idea to work together to make stuff happen.
Yeah.
That is why our country, to me, has always been great, because of the differences between each other.
I agree, but then all of a sudden 2008 rolled along and everything started to unravel slowly.
Yep.
I'm not saying it was all Obama's fault. It's not what I'm saying. A lot of people liked him. He was very well spoken, very easy on the eyes, might I add.
Yeah, there you go.
But it got more divisive and more divided and more, and it just kept going and going and going. And then Trump was like the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, remember these FCC rules that were supposed to be in place where if you lied on the news and you're not supposed to be opinionated, you get in trouble? Well, those were thrown out the fucking window.
Yeah.
Right? I think Elon put them on a spaceship and shipped them off to Mars because they're gone and we can't find them. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden it just became an opinionated thing where people are just taking opinions as facts and no longer do it. So it's like, why can't we get back to the facts? I like it when I pick up a newspaper of a certain political bias and they've actually bashed their own party a little bit because it's the truth.
Absolutely.
And you're like, okay, there is some normalcy in here.
I think there's more of that than you believe. I think that people they've been pushed away so that they're afraid to do that when they'd love to go off on their own people, because it's just normal. I feel like that is why we need to kind of, just like what Trump said, go ahead, call me a fascist. Well, that's the kind of thing. It's like, I'm at fault too sometimes. I'm a human being.
We're all humans. I mean,
exactly.
But that's why comedy
politics
is great. It's like you got to be able to take the joke, to say the things.
Yeah.
If you're offended by something, somebody else isn't. So it's not about you. This isn't a narcissistic thing. And and that's what I love about like comedy. But you're a comedian, and I think you're the right guy to do this movement. And I think
You think so? Thank you.
As crazy as MAGA for Mamdani sounds, because it's so crazy. It's like, what the? But
people, that's the exact face they make. They go.
But it's going to create the conversation that's needed. So your whole thing
is to get the conversation.
Is political unity.
Absolutely, it is, and that's what it started.
That's
Again,
what it is.
The original thing is I'm a MAGA guy that voted for Mamdani, so I'm MAGA for Mamdani. But now it's taken on the shape where all these other discussions and the people like you and other friends. And by the way, I wanted to tell you, I lost some Republican friends who just could not stand that I would even associate these two. But you were always fair to me. And I want to tell you how much I love you because of that.
Well, I see people for who they are,
and that's
not who they voted for.
But that's a good thing, and I think people need to learn that. That's a behavior that other people in both parties need to really grab onto and not be so just ugly and not have a knee-jerk reaction when someone's a different thing. It's a lot cooler to just be like, all right, that's the way this person thinks. And you'd believe your life would be so much better, their life, it wouldn't be so much angst, which I see happening. Like there was a party I went to, and we were all dressed up, and some guy told another guy about this guy's MAGA from Mamdani guy. And the one guy's like, you're MAGA? And I was like, I'd normally been getting hit online by the MAGA people.
Yeah.
But this guy was a Mamdani. And he goes, you're MAGA? And I go, yeah. He goes, how could you be MAGA? And I'm like, why? He's like, you're a racist.
Oh,
they're
God.
all racist. And he said they're all racist. And then his girl got in with him and she just was asking questions. But in the end, he was nasty and above it all, above you and above your MAGA. And she at least asked questions without being, whatever it is.
Judgmental.
Judgmental and just patronizing or ugly. And I told her at the end, I said, I just want to say thank you for being respectful in our conversation. Because what we're missing today, and this goes for Trump too, is being respectful to the other side. And for the reporters that attack him, being respectful in their questions. Both. Everyone needs to be more respectful when they speak to each other, especially about politics.
And that's where I think that we got so lost was that, back in, our parents' day, you respected your leaders, whether you agreed with them or not. There was a form of respect, and it's now you don't have to respect people.
Oh.
And it's like, you need to show some respect.
Absolutely.
That is still the president of the United States. And if you want to
Absolutely.
live here, he's your president, whether you
Absolutely.
agree with him or not.
Absolutely.
And so I think the respect word is a thing. But I can't wait. And maybe you're the key to this, as crazy as it sounds. But I want to live in a world where we're not as so divided, where somebody can walk in and say, I'm a Democrat. And the other person looks at and says,
This is awesome.
I'm a Republican.
Yeah.
Cool.
Exactly.
Let's go fucking play ball.
Exactly.
Let's go to the game. It's like
and
no
there
big
still
deal.
There are people like that, but it doesn't.
I agree, but it is. I want to tell
maybe
everybody
the media.
listening.
Maybe it's because the media thrives off of that.
The media is
lives
the
off of
enemy. Is the enemy. Okay.
Yeah.
What I'm telling you is just because, and I'm looking in the camera and I'm saying this because I don't need to tell you because you know. People that don't think exactly like you are not wrong. They just come from a different place and have different mindsets. Yeah. The best thing you can do if you truly love your country is to respect every person, whether you agree with them or not. I love the respect because it just comes down to that. I mean, I think
and we need to really start practicing
I kind of live in a bubble a little bit, and I choose like my own naive bubble because I'm safe there, I guess. Mm-hmm. But I feel that the divide isn't as bad. You know, I feel that like sometimes you'll tell people, oh, I'm this. And I don't really talk politics. I kind of avoid stuff. But I think people take one look at my cheekbones and they can tell who I voted for. You know, I just got the face of it. Won't even say it, you guess. Put it in the comment section. You know, but my cheekbones give away exactly, you know, where I stand, so to say, and probably my social media at some videos. But yeah, I think it's just like, I don't give a shit if you are a different party. Like, I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you came to me and you were like, I hate MAGA and I'm all Mamdani, I would still look at you the same because you're my fucking friend.
Exactly.
You're my friend,
and
I know who you are. Yes, I know who you are as a person. To be able to separate them is
key. Is very important.
Yeah, so I think people are just, the amount of anger, at the end of the day, it's like we are all God's children.
Yep.
And we're all brothers and sisters. And we're all down on this spinning gravitational ball.
Yep.
You know, trying to figure shit out. And guess what? Nobody is figuring anything out because we're going to get to heaven and be like, oh shit, we didn't know anything.
And along the way, we could help each other out. We could, you know, put an olive branch over and say, hey, what do you need in your life? You seem to be troubled. And we can help each other a lot more. And I think that's what we really need to do more and more now. And I think that message, you got to keep pushing that message. You know, it's not easy to push even this message. Like, you wake up another day like, oh my God, I'm MAGA for Mamdani. That means I need to conduct myself almost in another way.
Has Mamdani heard of the whole thing? And I'm sure they have. Like, you know, we need to take Mamdani on a little field trip.
Yeah.
And we're going to take him to Yosemite National Park.
Okay.
Okay. And we're going to get out, and there's going to be a big sign. And we're going to make sure he sees it. And that sign says, please don't feed the wild animals because they will not be able to learn to fend for themselves. And it's exactly what we do with people that get government handouts.
Yep.
Okay? That's why you've got to feed a man to fish. He feeds himself for life.
Right.
So this whole thing, it's not working.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if he's ever been to Yosemite or else he's like, I'm just running on this because it sounds trendy. But his father is a Marxist professor over at Columbia. And our Jewish brothers and sisters are nervous.
Yep.
And they are rightfully so. I'm nervous for them.
Yep.
And what do you say to our Jewish friends that I love so dearly that would help put their mind a little bit more at ease?
They were maybe the hardest of everyone because the socialist people, I was like, socialism, capitalism, like we're basically
it's like
socialist.
Lazy versus workers.
Well, our country, we're $38 trillion in debt. We're very socialist, but people don't like to talk about that part of the reality of that we are very socialist. Nate, sorry about that. And that's our great engineer over here, folks. But we are very socialist. But when it comes down to Jews especially, which is there's always something with them in the news or something, or anti-Semitism, unbelievable.
It's horrible.
Right. There's always the wars in Israel, absolutely crazy, set off by that October 7th, and just the back and forth. So my Jewish friends that are Republicans, which is fascinating because I didn't think of anybody really, which side you're on, but the Republican ones were very fearful of him, saying he's very much, because he didn't denounce Intifada, was it?
Yes.
And so other things say he's anti-Semite, he's an anti-Semite. And I can't like someone, I can't be like, oh yeah, well, he's an anti-Semite, well, good, because that's good. I still like him. That's a terrible thing for if you hate any race.
that'd
and to be a friend with someone like that there's something wrong with you. So I had to say, like, I don't think he's anti-Semitic, and if he was, I certainly wouldn't be behind him. That's not something that I don't think any anti-human of any race to me is a wrong, negative, higher bigotry thinking that is totally, it's just terrible thinking, I believe, and at least of violence. So I believe that he wasn't. I believe that he is not. And so I would say, I don't think he is. And they'd say, yes, he was. I'm like, well, show me something. Then they show me stuff. I'm like, that didn't say he's anti-Semitic. And then I see him with all these Jews. I'm like, I think he likes Jews. Then I went to the rally, and I think he's the controller, the New York controller is Jewish. And he said, how are my Jews out there? And the place erupted. There are so many Jews that love Zoran. So, and I have a few friends that they don't, one of them loves him, the other one doesn't even care about politics, but she was not afraid that he was anti-Semitic. So I don't think that he is. This goes to the same thing with socialism. Like, things are going to get worse. I don't think he's that kind of a guy. That's my sense on buying his spiel, on buying his background. I don't think he's going to be anti-Semitic. I think he's going to be more loving to Jews because he kind of has something to prove in a certain way.
So if for some reason he did come out that he wasn't as friendly to our Jewish, will you?
Oh, I would be 100% against that.
Good. Okay.
100%.
And you will call him out on that.
Absolutely. I would like to ask him the question.
Important.
I would like to ask him. I would love to meet him and ask him that question too, without being ugly about it. Because people sometimes try to snake on politicians.
People are scared, and I don't blame them.
Absolutely.
I really don't blame them. A lot of people are picking up to leave. I want to leave because I left New York City and went to go check out another place, and I'm like, oh my God, there's a whole affordable world out here.
So that's true.
The nice thing about New York City is the whole world feels like it's on sale.
Yeah, it's very true.
So it's just amazing what you could get and live.
It's very true.
Just when you're, New York City has so many amazing things to offer. And just amazing people.
It's so much fun.
It's great, but it's.
I was just at a cool show, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I gotta go do a podcast. I'm like, how cool is that? I mean, you can do that in other cities too, but I don't know. There's just always something happening.
But you can't. You're always just trying to survive because it's so expensive that it becomes very difficult for most people to thrive. Right?
They thrive and enjoy.
Yes.
And enjoy the city. You're always getting beaten, and
And I think it's going to get worse unless they can. Zoran's a big fan of the unions, and I got to tell you, I know the unions were set up to protect workers, and I love that about that. But at the same time, they drive up a lot of costs, which is really causing the shortage in the housing market. There's a lot of different things, but it's too expensive to build here. A lot of builders are saying this. So they don't want to come into develop. And then the apartments that are sitting empty, it would take so much money to get them up to code that it's more cost effective to leave it empty. So you have something like 80,000 empty apartments that nobody can live in. Yeah. So Zoran really needs to work with the unions to where builders aren't afraid to come in here and can lower the cost because you can do some union and some non-union. But this is what's really screwing New York.
I think he's going to have to go back on a lot of stuff.
And the tenants too. He's
going to have to go back on a lot of stuff, and that's where you're going to find
Albany
out.
to run and to give more of those credits to get these things up to code.
Yeah.
Because but here's the thing. He also said something about seizing private property. I'm sorry, but fuck you.
He said that?
What? Yes.
I didn't hear that. I didn't know idea.
But the thing is, I love this the most. It's like, okay, I agree. Child care is insane, right? I have a friend that wants to go back to work. She had a baby.
The cost of child care, forget it.
It is cheaper for her to stay at home with their child, raise them right, because she wouldn't know, than it is to go back to work and pay for the child care, right? She would like to go back and be social and not play goo goo gaga all the time, but she loves being a mother.
Sure.
But so yes, it's outrageous. But people are like, oh, I'm so excited for free child care.
Free child.
And I said to myself, well, why don't you just drop your fucking child off at the DMV? Because that's what it's going to turn into. I don't want anything in my life touched by the government because it's like the DMV. Everybody hates going to the DMV, but they forget, wow, this is a government-run thing. It's like jury duty.
I've been to DMV twice in New York City, and it was excellent. I went through like that. I just want to say that. I'm being on
But
the record.
It's filthy. The woman's like, next, next. I don't want that raising my child.
That's very true. That's
And there
very
might
true.
be some great ones, but I'm just saying, like, I don't want a government employee raising my child. I don't. That sounds horrible, right? But
Yeah.
I agree. There are tax deductions for children, which is great. It's just not enough.
Yes.
So I get that. So it's like, okay, let's stop sending more, let's stop sending so much money overseas, and let's start incentivizing people to have kids.
Yes.
And giving them options for school.
I love that.
And that's what I love. And going back to where a woman could stay at home.
Wouldn't that be great to go back to those days?
I agree.
I think this country
Trust
needs
me.
that.
I was victim of I'm not ever a victim because I think that's a bullshit. Well, I'm a victim. But the feminist movement impacted me. Okay? I was reading the Vogues. I was doing this. I was working on, I don't need a man. I don't need a man. I'm going to prove this. People can suck my blah, blah, blah if I have all this money. And I mean, God, I might as well have had a pair of testicles. He just ended up on my chest. And all of a sudden, I'm like, well, this game plan isn't working. Something's got to change. And now I'm at a point where I'm 43, and I've softened up a little, and it's like, well, shit. That was probably the thing to do, was to, But I also believe that God puts you on the path you're meant to be on. But now it's like that I've been through that. There was a woman today. She was an anesthesiologist.
But it's good you see there was something wrong.
Right.
And you're willing to change now.
Well, exactly. But there was an anesthesiologist, very successful, very beautiful, 53 years old. And she said, I was so busy becoming successful and building a life that I'm now lonely because I forgot to have children.
So sad.
And there is a time limit on that. So it is sad. I mean, I'm a really good auntie.
You'd be a great mom.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to have to meet somebody literally in 6 months and get married by Labor Day. So just putting that out in the universe.
It's ticking.
You know what I mean?
Make it
I
happen
have the
now.
eggs, but, you only have a limited amount.
Right.
And then the part of me, too, is like, I'm scared with the division and where the world's going. Like, do I want to bring a kid into this planet?
That's why,
Do you know?
You have an amazing attitude in life, and so I feel like it's that positive attitude that you got to keep bringing every day to life and bringing to people because it's contagious. When you're positive,
It's
the
true.
others are
Be the
positive.
light to drown out the darkness.
You have to be it. You can't wonder and I hope they're good over there. That's why I did this. That's a big reason. I didn't realize that I was kind of doing that. I'm like, I'm stepping up. I'm going to do MAGA for Mamdani. I'm bringing the people together.
But I think we discovered what the actual message is behind the shirt, which is really political unity.
Yeah.
How do we bring it
those
back to the Reagan era?
But I'm saying, but the politics goes down to what you were saying about being the fear, all this fear of stuff of the world and where we're going is the wrong way to think about life. You shouldn't even think about what this world is. Just make it better. Show everyone else it's better.
Right.
They will come around. You will be amazed how contagious it can be, the positivity. Negative stuff gets very contagious as well.
Yeah.
But positive stuff, it drowns it. It'll drown it out. I promise you will.
No, and that's a good
hope.
way. My friend from high school said that as well. She said, I think this is an ugly world, which is why I'm going to have as many children as I can so I can raise them to be beautiful souls to change it.
That's beautiful.
And I said, wow, that's really well said.
Yeah.
But she's also homeschooling her children. So they're not going to be indoctrinated.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Whatever it takes.
safer.
But that's the thing is there's so many options that you can do.
I know.
But you need to keep fighting no matter what. You need to keep fighting for the good. You need to, no matter what. You got to be
I think that's a message for everybody is that whether you don't like somebody, you still, like a politician especially, you still should want them to do well.
100%.
And you should
and pray that they
not
pray
hate
that they
anybody.
get better.
The
Pray
people-
that Trump will be nicer to him. I didn't even think about it. But
pray that they'll be nicer to Trump. I mean, it's
and
kind of extreme.
pray for that. That's what I'm saying is pray for all of that because it could actually happen.
I
you see it happen, and you know there are miracles.
What if
when
you're the
Trump is going, you
political-
can call me a fascist in the White House. I'm like, That's like a miracle.
It's
the way he was
hilarious.
going down the hill, like F you, hey Piggy, shut up, Piggy. Like, you know?
Right.
And then all of a sudden he's like, hey, it's all right, nice to see you. It was so bizarre.
But it's hilarious. But the thing is,
It's
like,
a Twilight Zone.
when people say, like, how can you, Trump, that's not very presidential. And I'm thinking to myself, you haven't heard me around a kitchen table with my friends. And let me tell you something. We all talk like that. Everybody I know talks like that. That's why people like him, because he's
Yes.
not like filtered and inauthentic.
Right,
People
right.
want somebody who's, there's some stuff taken to the max, but like I'm not in a position where I'm constantly criticized and attacked. I'm very lucky for that. I don't have a lot of haters. In fact, I don't really know if I have any. If I do, they're very quiet on social media.
You
So
conduct
start the
yourself-
conversation.
But you conduct yourself right in conversations
Right, but-
where you don't open up stuff where people can say, hey,
No.
what a bitch this woman
Well,
is.
after this interview, it might be a little different. No, I'm just kidding.
I even think you've even done this
No,
very well.
because
And
I
you've
don't-
always been one that I've always said, hey, listen, you got to talk more about the stuff you believe in from the political spectrum.
Because I don't have a hateful bone in my body.
You never,
I don't hate
and you never
anybody.
would. I understood why, because of the entertainment field. But I feel like you're even doing it great here, and you've opened yourself up in a big way. And I think people are going to respect that even more. That they like this woman's coming out on her side. Like I came out. You think I'm going to go telling people that I was a Trump? Just that I voted for Trump in this city? Well, we used to have to whisper and be like, we have to talk in like the restaurant. I'd speak with my friend Kevin. I'd be like,
God forbid
We'd
you
be like, shh, Trump. Do you see what Trump is?
Right?
But today I'm like, I voted for Trump. But I'm happy because I'm like, I voted for Trump and now I voted for Mamdani. And that's the neutralizer. Ching, you can't get me. I got Mamdani now, baby.
See,
Mamdani,
and that's why-
I love it. And the Mamdani people who immediately want to kill me, first it's the Trump people who want to kill me until, thank God, Trump, he pardoned me when he was nice to Zorro.
He pardoned me?
Then they let me go. They've been nicer to me, the Trump people, really nice.
Okay.
But even this kid today, he was you could see he was a Mamdani guy. And he's like, yeah, I'm like, I voted for Trump. And you could just see the tense. And then I'm like, but now I'm Mamdani. He's
They're
like,
so great, but they're
It
so
was like he
brainwashed
just-
with the
I-
anger. But
who
I'm
was
glad
brainwashed? Well-
these people that are on both sides that are angry or hate, I
There's
hate
a lot-
Mamdani or I
it
hate
is,
Trump.
and I'll
it's
tell you
like,
that it's on both sides, 100%.
I agree. But it's like hate is one of the strongest emotions and energies.
Yep.
And energy dictates your reality and what comes to you.
Mm.
And when you're so hateful, especially towards somebody you've never met,
Then they know who he is. Somehow you know
that's
what
why
this
I
guy
don't
is or
hate
this woman
Mamdani
is.
because I don't
Exactly.
know
You
him.
don't even know who he is.
I might want to be his friend, but I
100.
might be like, I think you're a political idiot.
Right.
But
you might
hey, let's
hate,
go
you
get
might,
some
you might hate his
beers.
methods, but I'll bet if it wasn't for that, you probably would love the guy. He's extremely bright man.
Or maybe I
Extremely-
won't. I don't know. But
don't
the thing
know.
is, I'm never gonna hate him.
Exactly.
Because when you hate people, that emotion is so negative and it is so dark that I choose, we're not going to go into it because I can't, but I've had a couple things in the past few weeks that have kind of stirred up my world a little bit.
Really?
And somebody asked me, are you angry? And I wasn't. I was confused, but I wasn't angry. And I don't hate anybody.
That's awesome.
Because I thought to myself,
That's mature.
well, it was a misunderstanding, but I said, what is hating somebody or being mad at somebody how is it going to change this situation?
No, and it makes your life worse.
So all I do is send them love.
That's a
I
beautiful
send
thing.
them love. So when people piss me off, I send them love.
That's a great technique.
Please send them light. And so that's what I want to encourage everyone to do. When you start to hate
Yes.
Trump or you hate Mamdani or you hate whatever political person,
And you're going to hate Trump
Just-
and you're going to hate Mamdani again. I
you're
promise
gonna
you.
feel better
Yeah.
if you send these people, just send them love and light, but really just kind of imagine like a light around your heart just going out, because you're just gonna be lighter, because that hate and anger, they've actually studied this and there's a test on it, so look it up, that the more hate and anger you have within your body, it actually leads to disease.
That makes sense.
And so
Energy. It's karma.
how you treat people is how you're going to treat back. So I just say, I think personally, and I'm glad you came on here,
Thank you.
and you're one of my best guy friends. I love you to death.
Thank
You're
you.
like
Love
my
you too.
fucking brother. I think you're exactly, I never thought I'd say this. I can't believe I'm saying this. I think you're exactly what America needs right now. You're the political unifier. As much as your parents think you're crazy and a lot of other people think you're crazy, and I sometimes think you're crazy, I am sitting here today with something that just dropped into me, thinking that you're the political unifier that I think is going to change
Thank you.
the game.
Thank you very much.
And you stay positive and you stay so.
Yep. Thank you so
God
much.
bless
for that.
you.
Thank you so much for that, Madison.
But get yourself a fucking bodyguard.
I've heard that many times, and I want to say,
Just stay safe.
I've
God
thought
forbid.
about it, but I
don't wanna-
appreciate it. Yeah, I'm sticking with this. I'm sticking with the positivity.
I love it. I love it. Well, tell people where they can find you, where they can follow you.
Yep.
Buy your merch if they want.
Well, first you got to buy one of these shirts or hats.
God.
And we're giving money. Listen, I don't know how much percentage I'm going to give to like homeless or the bus, the free buses.
No, give
but
it
I
to
want
the
to give a
homeless.
piece. I want
I
to give
like
a piece of what just go to MAGA for Mamdani, MAGA FOR Mamdani, and you can buy a shirt. You can buy a hat. We got keychains. We got a lot of stuff going on there, which is great. You can find me on Instagram, Ron Barba 1, RONBARBA 1 on Instagram and Facebook, Ron Barba. That's it. I don't do TikTok, and yeah. That's it.
I love it. And he's also a very famous comedian and an actor. So tell them where they can.
Yeah, I've got 2 movies on Amazon.
Excellent.
So you can see my movie's called Bobby Mortal, about a comedian, and the other one's called God's Will, about 2 preachers.
Yeah, beautiful. Very talented guy. So behind the political unifier,
Yes.
there's some other talents as well.
That's
so
how
check
we met.
those out.
As stand-ups. We met as stand-up
Telling
comedians.
dick jokes. I was telling dick jokes. He was like, "You're too filthy for me." I'm like, "Oh, jeez. Take the tampon out of your ass." Anyways, Ron Barba,
And with that-
love you to death. Love you to death. And thank you, everyone who is listening, wherever you are. We will see you next time to find out who's next.
It's been great to be next to Madison.
Hey, your host here, Madison Malloy. Please make sure to subscribe to the show on all podcast platforms, and please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. I thank you again for listening. Bye.